Hello everyone, Diana Rankin here with your messages, psychic soul messages, and perhaps a psychic prediction or two for the week of December the 16th to the 22nd. December 16th to the 22nd. I always have to work hard to remember those dates. Well, this is the week coming up on the 21st of winter solstice. And of course we want to welcome winter. We don't have a choice, so we might as well welcome it. It's going to come whether we want it to or not. Those of us in the northern hemisphere, especially in the upper half and the northwest and across the mid part of the country, in the north part of the country, we experience some really winter weather. But it is experienced all over the world in different ways. Winter solstice, whether we are in the northern hemisphere or the opposite in the southern hemisphere, it is a time for going inward. When we go into the winter weather here in the north, it is that time that gives us the opportunity to look inward. And we're going to need to do that this week. You know, last week I did remind you to be extra careful in the stock market if you're involved in the stock market. And we saw another huge drop. And what I want you to know is it looks like we're not at the bottom yet. So if you're in the stock market, please be very careful, be in the long range, or get out and put your money in a safer place, even though it might not yield as much. Yes, I did get a new sound system. Some of you were saying that you were having trouble hearing me. And this sound system is a little more powerful. And I did decide to go ahead and use a headset. I prefer the lapel pins, but apparently they weren't working as well. So that was my Christmas present to myself, was a new sound system. However, the echo hurts Daisy's ears, and I'm hearing a lot of it as well. It sounds very loud to my ears here in my office, so Daisy decided she didn't want to be in here. So you may not see her till next summer, and hopefully she'll still be with us next summer. Daisy's not a young girl anymore. And, you know, we just bless every day we have with her. And we should do that with everyone we love. Just bless the time we have together, because we never know. And that time can be very short. And, you know, my own mother died in a car accident. And so we spent the evening before the accident. We were together, and we were able to say, I love you, and hug each other. And it was really a good way to say goodbye. At the same time, we didn't know we were saying goodbye. And it would have been wonderful to have many more years with her, but we never know. And so in never knowing, we always want to just cherish those whom we love every day and every moment if we can, even if we're angry with them. So be careful in the stock market. And love those, really show the love that you have to others right now, because we are in a difficult and a dangerous time. Let me explain what I'm talking about. The U.S. is going through this time when individual hate has become the collective hate. And that's a dangerous time for a nation, for its people, and for the world. And the reason the U.S. is so big that whatever happens in the U.S. has a ripple effect around the world. That's not to say that other countries aren't just as important. They absolutely are. But again, it's the size of the U.S. and the diversity. So I'm calling upon each and every one of us, everyone who's listening and everyone I know, we have to look at our behaviors, including me. We have to look at our behaviors, our words, our thoughts. We must counteract this hate. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is through love. Beginning with looking at where we are unloving. What are those fears or those emotions within us that are unloving? What do we not love about ourselves? we have to begin with ourselves, and we have to look at those everyday actions, words, deeds, and thoughts. That's the only way we are going to heal the hate in the country, in another individual. What we have to remember is the person who hates is living in fear. They're just very, very wounded. And that's not to say when we come across them that we allow them to stay in their hate toward us or toward others. It is to say that if it is safe to do so, we must act in love. That may mean speaking up. It may mean standing up. It may mean asking the other to really think about what they're saying. But we can't, to get into arguments is not going to help anything. That's not going to solve anything. Arguments are only butting heads, and it's only fear against fear. It's because what you're saying is you must believe as I believe. If you believe as I believe, then okay, that's cool. I must be right because I've convinced you to believe as I believe. That's not what this is about. This is about recognizing the person living in anger, the person living in fear, is a person who is wounded. And that wound is just acting out. Can we help that person heal that wound? Well, we can't do it for them. But yes, we can help them. We can help them by showing them compassion, by showing them love. We may not actually understand their wound, but we all came into this life to heal, to help heal the world. So we all chose a wound when we were in spirit life to heal. It's not about letting the other harm us. Absolutely not. It's not about absence of boundaries. It's about using our boundaries to stop the other one's unskilled behavior, shall we say. But in order to do that, we must demonstrate skilled behavior. That's how we're going to heal the world. Healing ourselves and using that skilled behavior to help then heal others. That means looking within ourselves. And this is a great month to do that. It's a holy month. I mean, there's something like 25 different holidays that through the ages have been celebrated in this month. We have Hanukkah, we have Christmas, we have winter solstice, we have multiple holidays that are celebrated in December. And I think there are 3 or 4 on December 25th, ancient as well as modern. So it's a wonderful, wonderful time to spread the cheer, to really look inward, and to take those practices of love out into the world. Going to be more and more important as we go through this week and the next few weeks. This week in the U.S. and around the world, we're going to see both expected and unexpected eruptions. We're going to see that from people and from Mother Nature. On these videos, I don't like to get too specific because I don't want to spread fear in people. That's not who I am. I do get quite specific in my private readings. And for example, with one private client, but I also try to kind of, I'm not an alarmist, and I don't want to ever become an alarmist. I do want you to be able to use your own intuition, and if your intuition says, leave a place, leave a place. If your intuition says, don't get in that crowd, don't get in that crowd. You've got to pay attention to that, especially in today's world. Years ago, before 9/11, I had a client who was leaving to live in England, in Europe, and she came for a reading before she left, and one of the things I said to her that she told me about later, because I often do not remember what I said, in part because I'm in a deeper energy, and also because there are multiple clients that I work with. And what I said to her was that there would be a major uprising or something of that sort. I don't think I said uprising, but there would be a major development in the U.S. or catastrophe or something. Catastrophe is not the word. Honestly, I don't remember what I said. But when she came back and told me, she said, you told me that 9/11 was going to happen. Not necessarily the specifics, but you told me that there would be an attack on the U.S. And I think that's probably what I said, if I think about it. And that everyone she knew would be safe, and that she was not to worry, but she would not be able to reach anybody here in the U.S. for a while, a couple of days. And she said that gave her comfort when she heard about the 9/11 attack in New York, because she had family in that area. Recently, a client came back and said, thank you for telling me to take care of my business and finishing it up in Anchorage. She said, you told me there was going to be a major earthquake, and so take care of business and be okay. And she did. And I'm so grateful when my clients come back and tell me how I was of help to them. But that said, those are specific clients that I'm dealing with, which is different than talking to many of you on YouTube. So again, I don't want to be an alarmist, but I do want to tell you that we are going to see those eruptions by people and Mother Nature. So again, if you are to move out of an area, do so. Even if you feel a little foolish moving out of that area. If your intuition says go left when you want to go right, go left, please. It can help you and save you. I am seeing some problems in the both northwest and northeast. Northeast is more up in the northeast is more weather. They're both more weather related, but I am seeing some gun violence. It seems to be people are wearing light clothes, not and yet they're having like mufflers and hats, but not heavy wrapped up jackets. So that tells me it's in an area that's cool, but not freezing cold. So I'm going to say up in the Portland area in Oregon, there's a possibility of an outdoor gathering, and somebody does have a gun. I think it will be more scary than actual harm. It's almost like the person is standing beside near a police officer and doesn't know that that person's a police officer, and the police officer is able to help everyone, but there will be some injuries. I don't think there are any deaths, hopefully. You know, let's just keep surrounding our world and every country and the leaders of every country. Let's just continue to surround them with divine light and keep asking for help from the angels, from those guides that you work with. We can cure this. We can heal this horrific anger that's surrounding us. We don't have to live there. Let's not. That said, let's get a message from Philip. I want to also say thank you to everyone who comments. Hopefully this weekend I will be able to get to the comments from last week. It takes a while. One of my videos is on meditation to find a lost pet. You can also use it to find a lost object. And I want to say that one keeps me extremely busy, and unfortunately I can't answer all of those calls that come in. They're just overwhelming. I couldn't pay my rent if I answered every single message. So there's just me, folks, trying to pay the mortgage. So thank you for those of you who come to the workshops. I love you. That does help pay my mortgage. But more importantly, it helps all of us grow. And it's important to be involved in community, whether it's the spiritual path, or the sacred path. For 2019, the Sacred Path registration is open, and we meet once a month here in Ohio. And if you stay overnight at the hotel, make sure you mention that you're part of the Sacred Path, and you will get an exceptionally good rate. So thank you for your comments. Thank you for participating in the Sacred Path. Thank you for those of you who buy my books, this one or any of the others. They're all on Amazon.com, those that are still in print. And thank you for those who call for private consultations and sessions. I'm very grateful for all of you because you help me continue doing this work. And those of you who send donations, thank you so much. You help me continue with helping others. So what we do with this book, if you're new, welcome. Each page has a different message on it. And so we just kind of flip through and get our message. And Philip is my main spirit guide. And so he gave me this book back in the 1980s. It wasn't published till, I think, in the 1990s or 2000 something. I honestly don't remember when it was published. 2013, not that long ago. But he gave me this book years ago. And I just sat on it. And finally, it was like, you need to get this published because it's going to be helpful to people. So people tell me, and I do the same thing, when I sit down and do my morning meditation, I get a message from Philip that helps me through the day and the week. And also, people tell me they may use it the night before they go to sleep, or in the morning, or anytime during the day they need a message. And I use this when I do public speaking, if we're getting messages. And it's always interesting that people are going, wow, that really fits. I think the messages can be sometimes we have to work to understand them and interpret them. So I think that they're right on, but they make us think, and that's what I like. They're not just yes or no answers. Okay, so we're going to get our message from Philip and see what Philip has to say, and then we'll talk about that. Okay, here we go. I'm hearing right, but I also always read the message on the left as well. But here we are. Okay, this is our message. You are a slave to that which controls you. You are a slave to that which controls you. That goes right along with what we've been talking about. So whether it's a person controlling you and you've not yet stepped into your own power, or it's an emotion, and that's what we've been talking about, the emotion of fear, the emotion of anger. If those are controlling your life, if that's how you're making your decisions and your beliefs are structured through fear, that's controlling you. Love is not controlling. Love will not control you. Love will give you joy. So whether it's an emotion or a person or a thought that's controlling you, it's time to let it go and replace it with a loving thought, a new way of being loved. That's not saying you must get that person out of your life, but it is to say you're not going to be able to change them. Stop trying. But maybe you can learn to work together. But before, another person can never control us unless we give them our power. So we have to first start with loving ourselves. On the left side it says, first become love, then love will be yours. First become love, then love will be yours. I love that one. Because, when I was younger, and I think we do this, is if I could just find the right man, then I would feel loved and everything would be wonderful. Well, to find that right man, I had to learn that first I have to love myself. And I have to love who I am as a human. And I remind you, we are both human and spirit. So my friends, begin that love in your life with loving yourself. You're human, and all of us have the shadow and the light. So we get to look at that shadow, not to despair it, but to look at it, embrace it, and let it become the light within. I thank you, my friends, for being with me today. From Daisy and all of the other four-legged ones and the two-legged ones and all of us here in my family. Thank you. We love you. Let this month be a holy month for you. In spite of all the dysfunction in my country and in the world, let your heart be filled with love. And a happy winter solstice to you. Thank you.